Welcome to Set Talk with DerlyG. This content was highly researched and all opinions are of DerlyG, not any employer. Like, subscribe, and share.
Hey everyone, so today we're going to talk about one of the most important upgrades happening in the world of AI right now. It's a framework that's making AI chatbots and language models way more accurate and up-to-date. It's called RAG, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. But what does that actually mean, and why is it such a huge deal? Let's get into it.
But first, to really get why RAG is so important, let's start with a really simple question. Which planet in our solar system has the most moons? Go ahead, take a second. You probably have an answer in your head, right? Well, an AI has an answer too, but the answer it gives you completely changes depending on whether or not it's using RAG.
And here we go. On the left, you've got your standard large language model, an LLM. It'll tell you with total confidence that the answer is Jupiter. And you know what? A few years ago, that would have been correct. But look over on the right. The RAG-powered answer says, nope, it's Saturn, with 146 moons, and it even tells you, hey, this number changes. The first answer is wrong, the second one is right. And that single difference gets to the absolute core of the problem that RAG was built to solve.
So what is that core problem? Well, as that little moon quiz just showed us, even the smartest AIs out there have a couple of really big challenges when they're just left to their own devices. First, a normal AI's knowledge is basically frozen in time. It has a knowledge cutoff date, which means it only knows what it learned up to a certain point. Its information gets old fast. And second, and this is a big one, they can hallucinate. That's the term for when an AI just makes stuff up. It'll invent an answer that sounds totally plausible but is completely wrong, and it won't even tell you where it got the information. And this is where RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation, steps in. It's a brilliant but actually pretty simple idea that gives a powerful AI the one tool it's been missing, an external brain. At its core, RAG is all about connecting an AI model to outside information, like your company's internal files, or a live news feed, or some trusted database. It tells the AI, hey, go check this fresh information before you give me an answer. So it's not just relying on its old static training data anymore. The best analogy I've heard for this comes from the team at NVIDIA. Think of the standard AI, the LLM, as this really wise judge. This judge has a huge general knowledge of the law from studying for years. But for a very specific, current case, they need the latest details. That's where RAG comes in. RAG is like the super fast law clerk who literally runs to the law library, finds the exact up-to-date case files needed, and brings them back to the judge along with the question. So now the judge can make a ruling that isn't just wise, but is grounded in current facts. And here's a quick fun aside. The guy who basically invented RAG, Patrick Lewis, later joked about the name. He said, "We definitely would have put more thought into the name had we known our work would become so widespread." Kind of humble beginnings for a piece of tech that is totally changing how we use AI, right? So how does this law clerk actually get the job done? It's not magic, not at all. It's a really clear three-step process that you can follow from beginning to end. Let's break it down. The name itself tells you the entire story. Retrieve, augment, and generate. RAG. That's the whole workflow. But to really get that first step, we need to quickly talk about one little concept. It's called vector embeddings. Now, don't let the technical name throw you off. All this really means is turning words into numbers. See, a computer doesn't understand the meaning of a phrase like company pet policy, but it can understand a specific string of numbers that represents that idea. This is what lets the AI search for context and meaning, not just simple keywords. So step one is retrieve. When you ask a question, the system turns your words into one of those number strings, a vector, and then it does what's called a semantic search across its external data. It's basically looking for chunks of text whose number patterns are the closest match to the meaning of your question. Next up, augment. The system takes all the relevant stuff it just found and literally adds it to your original prompt. So instead of just asking the AI, what is our pet policy, the new supercharged prompt becomes something like, hey AI, using these documents I found about our pet policy, please answer the question, what is our pet policy? It's like giving it a cheat sheet with all the answers. And finally, we generate. The large language model gets this new details prompt that's now packed with all the relevant context. And now it creates a final answer that is based directly on the fresh, factual information it was just handed. It's no longer guessing based on old memories. It's building an answer from actual evidence. Okay, so that's how it works.
But why is this simple 3-step process such a massive game changer for artificial intelligence?
Well, the benefits are just huge. You get current, up-to-date answers. You slash the risk of those AI hallucinations because the AI is now anchored to real facts. It lets the AI actually cite its sources, which is massive for building trust. It's also way cheaper than having to constantly retrain a gigantic model from scratch. And for companies, it lets them use their own private data securely without ever feeding it into the core AI model itself. This slide really just lays it all out, side by side. With a standard LLM, knowledge is frozen in time. With RAG, it's real time. Accuracy goes from being a bit of a gamble to being grounded in facts. Trust goes from a total black box to a system that can show you its work. And updating it goes from super expensive retraining to just updating your documents. The big takeaway here is that RAG makes AI something you can actually rely on. But you know what? The story doesn't end here. RAG itself is already evolving. People are hard at work making that law clerk even smarter and more independent. And that brings us to the next big thing, Agentic RAG. In this next-gen version, the AI acts more like an intelligent agent. It doesn't just go get information, it first thinks and decides where the best information is probably located. Let's go back to our judge one last time. With normal RAG, the judge says, "Clerk, go to the law library and get me the files." Pretty straightforward. But with Agentic RAG, the judge just asks the question, and the clerk, the AI agent, is now smart enough to figure out the best move. It might think, this is about company policies, so I'll check the internal server. But this other question is about public opinion, so I should probably search the web. It's a huge step up in the AI's ability to reason.
Which really leaves us with one last powerful thought. As this tech gets better and better, we're moving toward a future where AI isn't just a smart know-it-all, but a truly reliable research partner. So the question I'll leave you with is this. What could we build with an AI that not only knows the answer, but can always show its work? Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for watching our content. Like, subscribe, and share.